No more gang shit. Let's talk about Marc Maron. Big up fucking Marc fucking Maron. Marc Maron's been on a tear. Like, he's been doing some promo for this fucking special. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to react to it on my Patreon. Keep an eye out for that. The Patreon dropping tomorrow of my reaction of Marc Maron's new comedy special. But Marc Maron has been fucking promoting the life out of this special. Going on every fucking podcast, every fucking YouTube channel. He's been really, really grinding. So big up him. And yeah, one of the better interviews he's done, or one of the more entertaining ones, was this one he did with Bad Friends featuring Andrew Trentino and Bobby Lee. And he comes in on fire straight away, right? As soon as he sits down, he's on fucking smoke. And his first kind of, person he goes at is Rogan. Then he obviously goes at generally the Comedy Store scene just in general. And he kind of attacks this, this bro comic thing as well, Rogan's clique. And which, could maybe be some, sneak disses all towards Brendan and all that sort of stuff. So really, really good clip. Big up Bad Friends. I really enjoyed this episode. Recommend you check out the full episode anyway. But it says Marc Maron on Rogan and the LA Comedy Store scene and why he hates it. And also he talks about why he would never appear on Rogan.
Yeah, you can fly free on this show.
I feel that. I feel safe with you guys.
You should.
That's when I was driving over here. I thought this is going to be a supportive, safe room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want to
Say
us.
whatever you want.
No, I got nothing. Do you guys have a plan?
Yeah,
we do.
The
We do.
hammering?
We do. We got a plan for the yam.
Yeah. The question to me is, why would you end? I'm going to say something before I even say that. I want to say that I feel like there's two people that are the pioneers in terms of comedy that inspired this generation to do it, which is a generation below you.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean,
It's you
Just one below me.
and Mario Batali.
For sure.
His
Batali
podcast
was early
is
on.
so good.
I think we probably all owe it to Tom Green.
Yeah, we do
yeah,
actually.
I did Tom. Yeah, right. Tom was first
With the video podcast.
with the video. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, me and who else?
Rogan.
That's the first diss. That's already the first diss, right? Mentioning Tom Green. Being very specific to mention Tom Green. That's the first diss. That's the first diss.
Okay.
Who's that?
Joe Rogan.
Joey.
Joseph Rogan?
Yeah, he's out of Texas.
Oh, he texted us. Got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Got it.
Yeah. You love Austin, don't you?
He's running half the planet out of Texas.
Yeah.
He's got a
Awkward. Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee. Awkward.
tight hold on the enlightened meatheads.
Dude, Maron's disdain.
Bobby Lee literally sweating.
It's not disdain. It's reasonable criticism.
Reasonable criticism.
Yeah.
When was the last time you spoke with him?
I don't know. That's a good question. I guess it would have been at the store. I never talked to him in Austin. I don't go into the club. I don't really think I'm on his radar. So
Something tells me you are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, something.
Something tells me you are.
Yeah, he definitely is on his radar, because Rogan definitely snitched on him to Bert about what he might have said about him on a podcast. For sure. For sure Rogan saw that clip going viral on TikTok of Marc Maron essentially sneaked this in Bert Kreischer. He did walk it back, which is weird, because he's quite a straight talking type of dude. He seems to not care about ruffling people's feathers or piss people off. So I was surprised that he tried to walk back and cop please, but he definitely was talking about Bert in that little rant he made about comedians who are not real and do this and drinking. He definitely was talking about Bert. I'm sure Rogan saw that clip because it was going viral on social media at that time. He forwarded it to Bert, and then Bert got his knickers in a twist because, Rogan added some spice to it. And he's like crying on a podcast about, oh, this guy comedians can take me, piss me up, I liked him. And then essentially that got back to Marc Maron, and eventually Marc Maron ended up copying please, went on Bert Kreischer's pod, and then the Kumbaya thing. So I'm surprised that this guy now, that you're about to hear rip into Rogan, was the same guy that caught please about Bert Kreischer. Really surprising, because he definitely was talking about him, in my personal opinion. I
don't, it's weird that you get lumped into a certain thing, and maybe it's my assumption that, his army of healthy fellas.
Is that their title? Army of Healthy Fellas is so good.
You just got to, got to stay in, keep the machine.
The machine's got to be good.
Yeah.
Is Marc Maron trying to say that Rogan purposely hangs around slobbish, middle-aged, alcoholic, drug-addled comedians like Bert Kreischer and co. to make himself look more jacked? to make himself look healthier, to make himself look like he's in better shape, to make himself look ultimately better. That's crazy.
Shot at Bert. Go ahead.
What do you think the Austin shelf life is going to be?
Well,
Well,
that's
I don't know. Like, I think that it's so effectively tribalized at this point. It really comes down to material. I mean, at what point, it's like whatever they represented in terms of policy. And,
Sure.
it's not a stretch. It's like they won. Trans people are frightened. They have no ability to get health care anymore. And
It's so good. He's already great. I'm gonna stop pausing. I promise. I'm gonna stop pausing.
and they're afraid of being alive and have no freedom left. So that's done. When do you stop with the jokes?
when do you stop with the joke?
And like immigrants, okay, well they're being ripped away from their homes, and and they're all terrified, and okay, so that's done. When do you stop with the jokes?
Right.
I mean, it's one thing to pick on the vulnerable and the marginalized, but I mean, they're down.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah, they're down.
why do you got to keep hitting them unless you're a hack? Now, there's a question.
Jesus Christ. Marc Maron just straight up calling Rogan a hack is fucking brilliant.
Wow. Mark,
He
wow.
comes in swinging.
Yeah.
No, so I don't know the last time I talked to Joe. People for a while were like,
He doesn't like me. I have no idea why.
why don't you go on Joe's show? And my answer to that is like, why?
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 Right. Well,
I mean, what-
it doesn't service you.
Well, no, I don't need him, and also there's no way for me to like. What am I going to talk to him about? And there's no way for me to.
Yeah, yo, big up Brian Harty, big up Samantha being in this chat. Yeah, I'm gonna play that clip next. Of Marc Maron going at Fear. I haven't watched it yet myself. I've been saving it for the stream, so I'm gonna play that clip next of Marc Maron going at Fear Von.
to sort of not walk out of there and be like, all right, I guess I'll look at my phone. Oh, fuck. How long is this going to go on for? Like,
Right.
But it's like Martin Luther King and
Jesus Christ. He's even dissing Rogan's length of podcast is hilarious.
Malcolm X made me meeting at one point. Don't you think? Let's go historical with it.
Say it again.
Malcolm X and Martin Luther King meeting. They
Sure.
met at one point.
Yeah.
well, that's right. And
Pioneers of the civil rights movement.
Which one is
right.
Malcolm X and which one's Martin Luther King?
Martin Luther King.
I don't really think
That's not Martin Luther?
the analogy doesn't work.
No, no.
doesn't-
He's so bad at analogies. Let him keep going with this. It's going to get funnier as it goes on.
Yeah. Okay. Let me go with more analogies.
He's like, this is if Hitler's and Goebbels had to hang out off the work site.
Why one of those is right.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I think you got half that analogy.
Okay, yeah.
Dude. See,
Mark, why could you just once support me? You know what I mean? With an analogy.
Shut up.
But that was just wrong. It brought race into it in a very profound way.
Yeah.
And I would.
Mine was angled and funny and distant. It went somewhere else.
Yeah, I think on one side of that, there's a guy that's aggressively fighting for the civil rights of victimized white people. God knows they've had it hard enough for a long enough time. But
Has Joe asked you?
no,
Oh.
Here's a better angle.
Adam used to go like, "Hey, what?" And I'm like,
Right.
"No."
Yeah.
I would actually love it though. I think it'd be a great podcast. It would be a fantastic episode, man. A fantastic episode. The disdain they both have for each other, right? Some of the, I think, justified jealousy from Marc Maron's side of things because he's not a Rogan, doesn't have Rogan's bank account. Would be entertaining to watch too. And because they come, from both, they probably come from two different places politically. I'd love it. That would be what a classic Joe Rogan episode would be. Two people that disagree with a lot of things in life coming together, sitting together, and hashing it out over 3 hours worth of a pod, and kind of coming to a mutual place. It's like, hey, we don't have to agree on everything, but I respect you as a person. I think that has to be a good show. But because I think Joe being thin-skinned and shit, and being avoidant of confrontation, but then talking shit about people on his pod or ignoring them, I think he would never do it. But it would be such a good show if he did, man. It would be such a good show.
Why?
Well, because it's interesting being someone like us on the outside of it and watching you.
Oh, you
guys.
got 1 foot in, baby.
Well, yeah, it's
Okay.
it's right up your ass.
Yeah, that's the other foot.
I think what it is for me is I would love to see you guys chat, but I'd love to see you guys chat in neither of your arenas. It would be the only way it'd be legit. Because if you have to go to his show,
Right,
not going
right.
to work.
Very good.
He has to go to your house, not going to
gonna
work.
work.
You guys would have to do this thing.
It's like setting up a mob meeting
Here.
No, seriously.
They should do it here.
Moderated.
You
mob.
should do it here at Bad Friends.
They should do it
It
here.
would piss both of them off so fucking much.
Yeah.
Look at the art behind them.
I know.
It would just be of us.
This would be
behind
good. Neutral ground.
But you do have to understand something. I have known Joe since he started.
Yeah.
I mean, literally since he first set foot on stage.
In Boston,
I was there.
Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember my initial issues where there was another guy, Kevin Flynn, who was out of the game. And he was like a soccer jock. And at that time, Joe was like a regional kickboxing champion. And my initial reaction was like, what are these guys doing here? This
sounds like Eric Griffin's early criticism of Brendan Shaw. Then as soon as Brendan Shaw started paying him money, he turned into Brendan Shaw's biggest dick sucker. But this is the same sort of thing Eric Griffin said about Brendan Shaw when he first got into stand-up comedy and was immediately playing at a Comedy Store and shit.
isn't for them. It's like Louis once said to me years ago when Jay Moore started in New York when he was like 17. He's like, it's not for them. It's not for the good-looking guys. It's not for the jocks. This is for us rejects, us guys who don't fit in. That's what comedy was.
By the way, it was Jay.
To be fair to the jocks that came in, I think the jocks, or the bro comedy contingent that Rogan kind of spearheaded, I think they got so far because some of the weirdos and the freaks were just lazy. To be fair to everybody involved, the gap in the market was there for them to kind of take advantage of, to kind of jump on, because those guys that are actually talented, those guys who actually was their true calling to become a stand-up comedian, who live interesting lives, who were very ephemeral, who were kind of artistic, who were kind of all over the place, addicts, abusers, whatever, but just had this incredible presence on stage and told these interesting stories and came from pain, all those guys were inherently lazy or just didn't, whatever, consistency, whatever. They just were that. So when Rogan's lot came in and under the adage of like sets and reps, it's no surprise they're able to blow up so quickly and take over from those guys and lead them to, lead them in their wake or lead them, whatever. And we are where we're at. So if the more talented guys weren't as lazy, we don't get Rogan, unfortunately, his crew and all that store humping.
More that good looking? Am I crazy?
He was cute back then.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, but let's be honest. Let's go back to the truth tree then. Marc Maron is a good-looking guy.
Not always. I was
Marc
a little
Maron,
sweaty.
You're a good dude. Why are you getting TV shows every fucking second, man?
And we'll get to
Not
that.
for my looks.
We'll get to that in a second.
It is. There's competition. There's your face. I've seen you on screen.
No, he's a handsome guy. It's annoying.
You have great angles on your face.
When you were young.
Now.
Yes, you're right. You matured. When you were young, you were hideous. You were a hideous man to look at.
I was sweaty and bloated and long hair. But getting back to Joe, look, I imagine the thing with Joe is I don't know that we have a lot to talk about. Because
By the way, that cut that I made just there was because there was like a good 10-minute, 15-minute section where they went off topic and they talked about something else. And the hate was so strong that Marc Maron still came back to talk about Joe. Like he still remembered he was hating. Usually when you're hating on someone, maybe you're in the flow, you say some hateful things and you just let it go. And especially if a new subject kind of comes up, you just go with that new subject. Marc Maron was mid hating of Joe. Another topic kind of came up. He went off topic, talked about that for a bit, but then came back around to hate on Rogan. That's that real hate. Inject that shit into my veins.
My idea of what he's done to comedy.
Sure.
And I don't think it's great. I think that it's tribalized, and I think that he's created a sort of army of people that think they know comedy, but they only know a specific thing, and what they think is good is not necessarily good. It may be what they're like, what they like, but on the outside of that, most of the sort of sensitive weirdos that we all grew up with in comedy have been sort of pushed aside, and the space for them has become limited.
You know what's funny about that comment, right? What's funny about that comment, as right as it is, I don't know. I still think there is some lack of lack of acceptance that maybe just comedy just isn't what these guys think it is, because as much as I sometimes do question myself, especially when we're doing the stream and watching some of these clips. We watch some of these comedian stand-up clips of some of their best work and stuff. We'll watch their specials together. All this, I'm like, is stand-up really that good, or are these guys just bad at it and they're just a bad reputation? I don't really know. I'm kind of leaning to the latter, like as if these guys have a reputation of it, but they're also, you know, in the most overrated art form known to man. Because I think just by and large, stand-up is like one of those type of things that a lot of people do very badly, but they're very successful at it. So something's amiss here. Why are there so many people who are very bad at stand-up doing well at stand-up? What's going on here? What's the, you know what I mean? You can't call anything bad or good in TV and shit for various reasons. It's hard to judge what's doing well or isn't doing well, apart from, you know, renewal seasons, and that's a bit, you know, deceptive. I don't know. I'm not too sure where I sit on this stand-up being ruined by Rogan only. Maybe stand-up is just shit anyway.
And it's a little.
But there was a time though that alt comedy was the
not alt comedy. I'm not even talking about the alt people.
Okay.
I'm talking about just like interesting stand-ups.
Right.
You know, weirdos.
Yeah. Like Brent Weinbach has a great special.
Sure.
I think he's so weird.
Joe Mandy.
Yeah, Joe Mandy.
You know, and now it's like kind of this, you know, there's this cultural idea of what comedy is.
Is there a world, and I understand I get your perspective.
Yeah.
Is there a world where both these things exist and it doesn't fucking matter?
They do.
Well, so this is what I always say. Like, I get that you don't like that world. That's part of why I love you, because you're like, fuck that, and you'll shit on it. And that's what's great about
there's
comedy.
some good comics in there, and there's a lot of middle section. There's a lot. I believe that we all exist in the same
and it
world.
doesn't matter is my point. I get why you...
It's not all on him.
No.
The culture has changed.
Right.
And you know, and I don't necessarily think for the better, but it's changed in a lot of ways in that, look, you know, there are comics that only drive clips and that, you know, only do crowd work, and they don't care if they do other people's jokes because the traction is with the clip. And what they don't realize, I think, and what a lot of people don't realize is that you're the internet's bitch. You're the platform's bitch. So in the sense that if you're not able to fucking confidently do an hour without worrying about getting clips so you can get people come see you to do crowd work, what are you really?
Right.
What is your voice? Who do you work for? You'd like to think you're working for yourself, but you're just a platform
Jesus
bitch
Christ.
who doesn't really need to find who they are
Jesus Christ, the bullets are flying
up there. Do anything interesting at all. That's a problem.
Yeah.
So... And the bigger problem about what you're saying is I think we all still do exist, but the nature of the comedy business is fragmented and some of it's tribalized. But there used to be a lot more weirdos around who were kind of exciting and interesting and took it a different place. I would argue with just talky talk comedy, there's not that many people bringing it to a different place, dude.
Right. Well, there is some good ones that, like, I think that kid Casey Rocket's really entertaining and fun and different and unique. I think they're there, right?
Yeah.
I think the problem is there's so much sludge, there's so much shit, there's way more noise than we've ever fucking seen.
Yeah.
So it's hard to appreciate or even care because all that's really being shown is kind of the constant, like, give it to him. So
I'm tired of the attitude.
I thought you were going to say violence in this country.
No. I'm tired. They come up back to L.A. One guy, I want to name his name. I go, oh, you seem like you're thriving. And he goes, I'm killing it.
Killing it, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, whoa, dude. You moved out because you couldn't survive here.
Yeah.
This is a different...
It's an animal.
It's an animal.
Well, I think the weirdos you're referring to, by the way, were birthed, and I defend this till I'm fucking blue in the face, were birthed at the Comedy Store.
A lot of them.
I think the biggest mistake that's made whenever I go back east is, you know, the New York guys that I have very close friends out there, they make fun of the store and blah, 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 blah for all the years. And I'm always like, dude, you'll never find a bigger group of fucking lunatic all over the mappers. When I moved here in 2006, it was wackadoo central. The late nights were fucking insane. In fact, the front patio, you were like, is this illegal? Whatever this is.
I know. Do these people live here?
Brian Callen, probably. He's talking about probably Brian Callen.
Here?
Yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And I think I always push, I was like, people don't know that about the store. They think they hear this like corporate bro. And that happens internally in LA a lot too, where they're like, the store is a fucking, you know, whatever, sellout factory of fucking bro comics. Because
Not anymore.
No, but there was a wash of it that came through. And I think.
Yeah, Joe. They moved to Austin.
But
The first joke didn't land, so you had to double down. The first joke didn't land, so you had to re-emphasize who he was going at there. Loved it.
No, I think even up to a few years, even when I was starting out, and the Largo guys or the East Side guys, if I go do East Side shows, they would make fun of me going back because I had a lot of good friends that were East Side guys.
Yeah,
and we started
because
together.
they couldn't cut it.
Have you ever heard somebody refer to it as East Side or West Side, or is it West Coast? I thought it's Coast. I never heard someone use the term East Side.
Couldn't cut it at the store.
I know, but they still would hate on me for going. They'd be like, "Why the fuck you going there, Santino? It's all fucking loot." And I hate it because I was like, "You don't get it. That place is diverse and insane and weird."
But the bottom line is, you got to do the job.
You got to do the job.
East Side, you don't got to do the job.
Right.
You got a bunch of like-minded people that'll sort of watch you worm your way through a personal story that goes nowhere.
Right.
And find
powerful bunch.
The whole.
Yo, big up Odyssey.
Mark throwing that B word around. Wouldn't say it to Rogan's face, Bubba. Rogan is 6'4". Looks like he bullied you in high school. Top 10 youth heavyweight. Had a cappuccino with the Buffalo Bills.
I'm really curious to see if they bring this up on TFATK. Probably won't, but I'm really curious to see if they bring this up or the Bill Burr clip as well on TFATK. I'm wondering. Will they?
Whole issue and whatever alternative comedy was, it didn't deliver the goods because it ain't around anymore. And that weird argument, it wasn't that alternative comics were open micers. They were just trying to do something different.
Right.
But if you're brought up with the working ethic of like, you open, you middle, you headline, and then you fucking do the job, that wasn't the same sense of purpose. So when you do the store, and the reason why I've never stopped doing it, and I was always a club comic from the beginning, but
you're like Blade, though. You live in both worlds.
That's right. Well, I helped build the alternative world in New York, but
I'm
right,
saying
down,
there's some
mate.
comics
Calm
like
down,
you
calm down.
that do both.
Sure.
I wonder why. I mean, there's you. I think Zach lives in both. Gafranakis. Patton Oswalt lives in both.
Yeah.
But some of them don't live in both.
Well, some of them don't live anywhere anymore. I'm not sure what they're doing.
Jesus Christ, he's so good.
But
They're back on that couch, baby.
but the truth is that like in my mind, it's like you got to be able to do the job for whoever.
Right.
Yeah.
So like the idea, and sometimes at the store, it's hard. It's not always easy at the store.
No, there's tough.
And there's a lot of times where most of the room doesn't know who the fuck I am, but that's the job.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I do have my people, and I go do theaters and stuff.
Of course.
But you want to go put yourself through I still have that weird ethic. It's like, because a lot of people are like, why would you go to the store anymore? I'm like, I don't know. Because I got to do the job.
Yeah.
And it's a way to know whether shit really works. If you can make it work over there,
Yeah.
it's going to work anywhere.
I think that's it. I think everyone that got successful at the store, that became a store person or a store name,
Yeah.
they have that like unrelenting, I have to be a comedian. I have to do it.
Yeah.
Like
there's
even
no
when
other choice.
when wives and girlfriends and friends are like, "What are you going to do? You're going to the fucking now?" You're
Yeah.
you're
That's
like,
why I don't have any of those things.
So good. Recommend you check out the whole entire interview. It's really fun. He comes in about 20 odd minutes in, so it's not a super long one. But if you're into Marc Maron and what he talks about, then I reckon you'll enjoy it. They do bring out a funny, ranty, loosey-goosey side of things, so it's not all deadly serious. Obviously, he's talking about a topic that's close to his heart, but still, it's done in a somewhat comedic way. And again, if you're into the Rogan bashing stuff, you'll fucking love that. So big up Marc Maron. Big up Marc Maron.